Amandla. Amandla. Long live the undying spirit of Gogo Ndlozi. Long live. Long live the undying spirit of Winnie Mandela. Long live. Viva EFF, viva. Viva EFF, viva. Haikule EFF, haikule. Haikule EFF, haikule. Tata EFF, tata. Tata EFF, tata. Sabonga, thank you very much. JBL monitors are so weak. Thank you, Program Director and the Ndlozi family and all the families which were mentioned here, the Nchingila family and the Soteti family. We thank Baruti, Bakreke, Yagogo, and we thank Muruti, Ralukhulela, Lebaeta Pelekamuka, Ba Kreke Yi, Rejoine Mama, Kauleboa, the venue yeler feeling yona Muruti, we shouldn't take advantage. Rena no is automatic. Especially amutu isili mululuko wa kreke au. Bau ibi maluko wa kreke banale maswane di ya utomato maditsele. And ria tsepa oraritza mamu. Batla kushisha ora unyake tsele murutu warna wa idiela schabaka muka. The church belongs to all, including prisoners. So that's why the church should never discriminate. We are here to send our condolences. Ulapa la Ndlozi, kaufela, bao kudishitjeng ibile ba belegile ke mokhekulu. Ke gopele tshwarelo gore itla re ka nako e itseng. Deputy President wa rena o rile ka 1 o'clock. Re tlo tshwanela go tshaba ka gore ka 2 o'clock re na le appointment le tswa e nngwe ka kwa parlamenteng. Ya lo re swantse re attend ka 2 o'clock. Ele sa re bone. Le ska re itia ba maemo. Go na le se sengwe se tlhagile mo nageng. Senyaka gore se lokishe ka piana ka 2 o'clock today kwa parlamenteng. Because personally I always feel very bad when you attend a funeral and do not conclude the program. You pretend to be busy, busier than busy itself. You think leaving much earlier makes you an important person. And even when you left earlier, how fitla you growl stranded, we see this with the so-called ministers and premiers and mayors and councillors, because they've become so big-headed and cannot humble themselves and be with the bereaved family to the logical conclusion. I would have wanted to do that. Because one of my birthdays, which I was celebrating here in Orange Farm, together with my wife, we were there celebrating and relaxed. We just saw an old woman walking in with a stick. Unexpected. She was sick. Her grandchild did not expect her to be there. But she told them that today my president is celebrating his birthday and I'm going there. She didn't come and left during the proceedings. She stayed to a point where I even left her there and she was sick. She loved us so much. She never saw the EFF as an organization of children. She knew that her days were gone. She lived her life. She had no reason to join politics at her age. But she knew that she still have an opportunity to contribute to the future. And if at her age, she can still see that the future must be built now, what about those who belong to the future, who do not build the future now and think that the future, it is some shopping complex waiting for them there? The future is not something that is awaiting us. The future is what we make of it now. You need to decide what you want to become. If you want to become a teacher, you will be in a teacher's college now. You will not be in the teacher's college in future. If you are going to become a prostitute, your signs are already clear now that is the future that is awaiting you, unless you do something about it. Gogo, Nomkiti told you to go to school. You decided not to listen to her. You said she was illiterate, she was too old to tell you what to do. She's no more today. You've got no qualifications. She protected you when they wanted to isolate you for being a stoat at home. She said to you, fix your ways now because I will not be here forever. You didn't listen. Shall di bona? You should have fixed your ways. But let me remind you, you are not late. In her honor, college and universities do not have age restriction. You can still correct it and say, I'm doing it for my grandmother. I want to make her proud of me, even in her grave. Lena, she's not the type to go around that very hoopy. That's why her smile is difficult to reach. She always see beauty in everything. The question is, because she might have forgiven you for calling her a witch. Did you forgive yourself? How can she give birth to you and become a witch the following day? For because if she was a witch, she would have killed you the day you were born, when you were defenseless, when you could not do anything for yourself. She invests in you. She makes you a man. She makes you a woman. She makes you a respected person. She makes you to have a family. You turn around and call her names. Today, we must all forget that. We want to remind you that we know. Please find peace with yourself. Because this one of ours was never a witch. No witch produces doctors. No witch produces respectable people in society. Because Jeudi Diang ole motswadi ole motho mogolo o tsebo di tlo reflecta mo baneng ba gago. Mamotlage bana ba ba o ruga o a lebala gore bana ba ntelela kgane ba bone wena gore motho mogolo a ka rugiwa motho mogolo a ka telelwa. Correct your ways. In her honor, do not go to a grave and speak to her. Speak to yourself. EFF, you need to recommit the constitution of the EFF and its 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars. Because Mukhekulo, o joine mokhatlo, anyaka lefase ore batho ba fiwe lefase. Not lefase fela la ore we must have houses. There must be a land murud for places of worship. Because today, we've got more shebeens than churches. That's why we have a problem of society that is highly disorganized and cannot confront the ills that are happening in society because they are forever on a bottle. And when you are permanently on the bottle, you do not have moments of reflection. And it is in the best interest of the state to keep our people on the bottle. That's why they even give them 350. Because the 350 can only buy a bottle. It can't buy a bag of meal. They want to keep them permanently on the bottle so that they don't see them when they steal and confront them. We want a land to be given to places of worship where people will be reminded that they must from time to time have a moment of reflection and ask themselves a question: where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Because if we don't know where we come from, we'll be misled. I don't understand leadership of the ruling party. We have names and ID numbers of everybody who gets a social grant. By having that, it means we know all of them, that they are poor. That's why we give them social grants. Why can't we use the same list to give them houses, to give them water, to give them electricity, to give them free education? You still ask people to come and register for houses because you enjoy a pleasure of people permanently displaying their poverty. You've got a list. Why should you ask them to come again? List is the social grant means you are poor. Let's make sure you've got a house. There is a disability grant, former national chair. We know all disabled people of South Africa. There are not too many. We've got a list of them. Why do you ask them to come and register for houses? Why don't you use the same list of disability and check if they've got houses and give them proper houses that are comfortable for disabled people? Disabled. Dintlo tšela tša bona di na le di-lift motola wo o fitlha jwang ka wheelchair kwa godimo go a bontšha gore a o tsebe batho ba gago ba mo fa ntlo flats ba raya nne flats ya godimo motho o disabled and o bile o kry-a tšhelete ya disability. What happened to a government that can't take care of those who can't take care of themselves? Imagine if they can't take care of those who can take care of themselves. What about you who can take care of yourself? They will never do anything for you. We need the land. She joined the struggle for the land. And land is everything. That's why at some point everybody negotiated, can black people vote? One of the options they looked into was, why resa dumelle ba ba nang le property ibe bona ba votang. That's how much important property is. Mme wa sokolana le bana nna mikhukhung a fitla mo metseng ya batho a tsene a nna mo hodima di sofa a fitla o nna fase on the floor ba re wa o nna fase a re tata re senya ke tla re o nna mo lwetse ja kgeya ke tla patela ka eng tšiwana modimo e poloka ga re o nna dikokotla ke moka le motšhaba le motse motho wa o sokola. Give that person an RDP house o tlo bona o bona change a movement a emisha magetla a e ba le seriti o bona gore o gotlišitše seriti sa motho o ba sa tshepe gore le nna one day I can have dignity. That's what ownership of property does to people. Let's go le mafaita le nyaka o replace the current government la utswa le lena La re le nyaka o owna dipanka batho ba rena re mmušo o be le panka ba re mmušo o ka owna panka makgodu a le tlo utswa. If you want to own the bank under the EFF government, o swantse o thoma hanyo le gore o ska ba le kgodu. O ska utswa. That's a commitment you must make with yourself. Or a ke nyaka o utswa. Ke nyaka o tshwana le mmušo wa maburu, not in terms of ideology. Ke nyaka o tshwana le bona ka commitment. The Boers were committed to each other. That's why ba agile Eskom ba sa agile nna le wena. They were building for themselves. That's why sa re thakane ba re ba re fa yona ka moka yawa. Ka re ba ba ikreileng, it was meant for the few. Ba oketša its capacity without building more infrastructure. Ka capacity ya accommodate the few. It was not meant for me and you. That's why he wabu. Because he overloaded. Geukaya Steve Biko Hospital, the best public hospital, where Kuku was supposed to be taken to Mbuisene Belinyaka Muisha to a public hospital. Nasanga Gaisha Kukuaka public hospital. Kedu Kwasa Tenalebating, the Petele Jamo, South Africa, Jam Musho, Tenalabatu Kale, who Uliqua Lebati, or Morodo Kwam. I will never do that. But if you try, go to Steve Biko Hospital. If you go to the hospital, that hospital was not built for us. The lift dia robera. What's why I agree over bullet children nagualo. Reatala lift yela was not designed to carry this weight. Ba kirele hospital some musho seke peregela boots. Instead of increasing the capacity of the lift, abalukishisilo. Li lift yanela bado elisa ka mkhwano la be meant to carry few whites. Now it's carrying a lot, including black people. How yes, Steve Biko lift ya ibiriki. It was not designed for that. Why repalla lokuno gaga lift ya lift or now we've opened this hospital for more people. Therefore, it means we must increase the capacity and build another wing, not hospital. Shem, maybe wing. Rabale minus one hospital. So, we must, as the EFF, be the different of what they are. And be like the Boers, not in terms of ideology, but out of commitment. This is your responsibility. You must execute it to the best of your ability because you love your people. You must fall in love with black people and work for the black people. Uskara obeilo mo bar kwena le podisa. Bar mo uska ba le motho a tsena. Eu batiba bar cold drink. What you cold drink? What's about collapse the whole system. Where now leave the other corrupt police. You alone. Just do the right thing. You alone, just do don't look at what others are doing. I'm not looking at what politicians do. There's no politician in South Africa who has never been to Johan Rupert's house. I've never been there. Many times he asked to see me. I said, hey, I come from a very poor family. You are too rich. Do things differently and do them even if you are alone. Do the right thing. And by doing the right thing, you don't do it in public. You also do it even when people don't see you. It is called credibility. Credibility is not what we see, that a president projects himself to be holier than thou. And in darkness, he keeps cash of money that is unregistered and no one knows about it. That is not credibility. And stop defending him and stop saying we're lying, because he admitted that he keeps cash the amount is correct. So that he keeps cat is not in dispute. To allow to protect more than himself. He says, yes, the cash was found under mattress. But it's not the amount you are mentioning. Why do you all assume that it's less when he says it's not the amount you are mentioning? Maybe he says you are wrong. Because my figures say no, we're actually wrong. It's $80 million that he kept, not only in one property. Credibility, I say to you, is doing the right thing even no one is watching. So that when you are exposed, people will say, this is an honorable man. So, fighters, do not do wrong things in secret and then in public pretend that you are a good leader of society. You can't go around beating your wife and your girlfriend in private and come stand here and tell us to fight GBV. We will never succeed because we're counting as being 10 men who don't beat up women. We're including you. And we thought we were making progress. When you live here, you go and beat up a woman. We're actually 9. So, even in private, do not assault women. Leave what other men are doing. Even if you are the only man who doesn't assault women, be that man alone. Why do you want to impress other people? When you do the right thing, you don't have to be seen by others. Many of us here who are working, members of parliament, businessmen and women, people with some form of income. If each one of us, quietly, without telling anyone, adopt a poor family and buy them a grocery of not less than 500 rand because we cannot all afford. Can you imagine how many children will give confidence? Because banaba fail math and science, not because kidi domkob. Banagane or geri jwamo. Ho tagaini geri ya gai. And they are not only thinking about themselves, they are thinking of their mothers. That family that you know is poor. When we live here in the name of this beautiful, good old woman, in her name, just one family without telling anyone, look after them. Not luxurious things. We're asking for nothing. Gogo said it here. We're asking for nothing. Re chaudo isha malengu re robala bushiu. Re ska lala re la ka ramala. Khopela ucha chaudo robala re yile. Today only, we are not asking for luxury. That's what we are asking. Can you do that for us? And please, do not make us to make you look good in society, because you are no longer doing it for us. You are doing it for your own ego and image. That's why you go around talking about it. That's why you are taking pictures. You are displaying our poverty. We are already ashamed that we are poor. You are asking us to be ashamed in public. That's what we are asking. We know you can afford that. We know how expensive whiskeys you drink. Just take a cut and help us. Batswadi ba rena ba lwala. Ba ne di swikiri, ba na di diabetes, ba na leng, ba nyaka ba ye hore ba khone ba enwa di thare tse ba fang ke mmusho. A di bereke di thare tse ka hore ba di nwela tlaleng. Re a khopela. We are asking, in the name of this old woman, if she could do good in her age, re a kotama a re kgokomoša re na selo re a tseba ona ntho re ka udia yona re o kgopela. We are asking that adopt a poor family. Let some child eat because of you. After helping them, I helped someone, and no one has to know about it. So, batho issue, mokgekolo issue ememare, ke file batho ba issue mapai le mepete. Jwalo bakgekolo ba le ka moka na bona ke ro bona mbuiseng. O yo ba check ka moka ka gae ka re ba ba nyona ka mepete ba ena le mepete kana mo. Bakgekolo ba le ba mokgekolo o yo ba etele ka moka na bona one by one. Ka gae o ba check gore na ba ne mepete na. E ba sina mepete o ba ngwale fase. Ke ba fe mpete le mpete le mpete ka moka na bo. Or le bona ba tle ba tsebe gore mokgekolo a ba ska mo lebala. Ba re ka lekgola mokgekolo ke ile ka sarobala fase ka kry-a double bed e tsamaya le mapai le mesemelo. Because we are honoring a giant. Re nyaka gore mokgekolo le ska ba la tsoa le molebetši a re lefe fela le mepete. Mepete e šale morao ke grocery re ba fe grocery ba e bage ba re hey mokgotsi a rena ile a robala ra ba ra ja dirupi tša kgogo ka poloko ya mokgotsi a rena perata ra bona bobotse ba EFF ke lefa dilwetše a se ke botšiši ka kua ešo ka kua EFF treasurer ba ile nthua ke fita mara ke ta le hwela le ska wara ke ta ilwa. Batho ba ešo ba re šetšeng bana ba mokgekolo a re tshwaraneng re be ba nkwana. The death of our grandmother should not be a source of division, but should be a seed of unity, of purpose as a family. Ke le bone ka mokgola le binang ka ona le before le bina, I told my wife ka rapa o ba tsebe ba kopane ba opela, and then ba bina lo ali thoma le bethatsela ja majomane ke re shitšiwe wa di bona ke lo ja ka mandlozi ba dia jwalo e ba kopane ba ska na re le dia mo ka re le bona na re le tsebang re a di tseba di koma tša lena le moshimano wa lena o wa di recorder o kry-a re bontšha tsona di kgathiša o kgathiša re a family swantšebe jwalo gore ge re kopane e ska ba re boragadi ba hwile ape ba mabiteng ka baka lao e be o re ba nkwana re ntwetee. Batho ba ešo re leboa Mbuiseni wo le re fileng yena re le mokgatlo wa EFF re leboa le kgodišo ye mokgekolo a mo fileng yona ya o hlompha batho le o hlompha lekgotla tšela re di diang kwa parlamenteng a se rena na re bana ba bakgekolo ya ona ngwana mokgekolo wa mphaparita ya ba ta o phara bakgekolo ba nana kwa o raloka tšela re di diang ko bona lena sefatlhegong gore batho ba rena ba sokola swantše re o ba lwela re tswile ka mola re beile dioborolo fase re ba tswadi re banna ba malapa re bana ba basadi le banna le bakgekolo ba galabe re tseba motho and tlhokego mo bathong ba rena e re kweša botlhoko ke ka mo mogalabo a ena le dithuto tša le dipurapura tšage a rileng a ke nyaka o latela tsela ya dipurapura ke nyaka o latela tsela ya gore ke kaonefatše maphelo a batho ba ba ka se kaonafatše maphelo a bona ba ba reng rena a re selo will die nothing, we turn them into something. Ra bona an ordinary rejected person either a respected person in a community ra kwa le rena re robala a re nyaka go ba di president ja South Africa re nyaka o no thusha motho o montsho o moti lo moti jwalo le jwalo go fitlela re fitla mo eleng gore setšhaba se sa rantsho ka mokana sona se tla ba mo maemong a reng le rena re tla kgatliša ka sona ke mo le bona monna dipurapura a beetse dipurapura ka thoko a re ko apara dibutsi ke ya ntwe ko lwela lefase la gešo because mo Orange Farm a se ka mokgwa batho ba swantse ba dule re swanetse re nne ka mokgwa maburu a ntšeng ka ona re ska re batho re ke rena di neighbor ge motho a ka mo a bolela o mo kwa ka mo lwetša ka mola motsengola le ba phasa ka masa o kwa everything ha ona ntho o sa e tsebeng a re na le sephiri that's why batho ba re sena di neighbor kwa motho a re neighbor e tlo bolela neighbor ke efe re yo ba family re ka jarateng ye tee ka re go ka combine jarata tše tša rena ka moka the whole of Orange Farm ke Orange Farm ka gore e be o na ke le burule le tee rena re share re le millions re we've got pieces of land no a se bophelo ntouwe re nyaka lefase le le tlo khutlišang seriti gore le rena ge re ntše sephiring sa rena re le malapa re tsebore re ka bolla tša rena without o mongwe a rekwa jwalo ntwewe for as long as se be gona purapura le khibidu e taba e sale le bona ka tšatši le la graduation e ka se bereka e tlo bereka tšatši le le ntši gabotse a boela university ya lwa e ruta bana gore e be bana ba ba e leng gore ba rutegile na mokgekolo o sa nyakang a robetše a bone Winnie Mandela ka jarateng ya hae Winnie Mandela a tiša ke motolo wa hae a tiša Winnie Mandela ka hae wena a sangwa tiša le mmamoruti wa mmamoruti ka gene o do re ta le tiše thapelo o tompotše jalo that's why o bona le bokisi le la mokgekolo ka le lebelela simple box why o ba ya jungle oats wa geno a jungle oats that's why o nyako tswalela bogolo ka le bokisi lanke ke malao pala le go tsena ka ra le bita re swantse re epe tšatši le re tsentša le bokisi la ka gore o swabile a re swabiše ke selo o ba ya jungle oats re reka re mofaiye o sa sa re ke ile a ke repeat e ke nyaka complex o bona mokgekolo a ya madifi mane ka mengwaga gage wena bommao ba ya eng o iphile bjala o iphile diaparo o bitšwa ka maina ba re ke wena bramamang mara tšatši le bommao ba tlo tlhokofala le bokokwao ro išwa holo ka gore ka gae ke mathabiša ditlhong na se re temo ka baka la mathabiša ditlhong kereke ya morutira le kgolela re tišitše kore re setšhaba ane a rena dijarata mara o se ka tšhaba o fete o thola mokgekolo o ba ena le nto kwa ya kgoparara re agile o robetše a thapa ka metsi a o fiša wena a o na hotel ya o sa itsebe mo Santene mo mara bomma wa bana metsi a o fiša sa le re o tseba re ka ba ra re ga geno ore ba busy jalo lwetše ke di bolelang di dia ke mošimane wa o tšwa Everton a golela Orange Farm a tšwa Santene a bele wa ka o tšwa gana monna le wena re tšwang gona a re ke tebelele gore rena phoso a rena e tla mokae poleke a ena bothata bo na le rena we must change our attitude and say this dusty street are going to produce more PhDs because Orange Farm started as an informal settlement and Orange Farm will end as a suburb ye ba le bana ba o rutea ba ileng gore South Africa e ke gantšha ka bona but do you want educated people Or yes, but go to Orange Farm. You'll find PhDs. Robala mkhekulu. Re tla shala re tlhokomelane. Thobela.